Have you started it?
Hobbit, can you stop the sex noises?
Oh, Hobbit. That's a Hobbit. Thrust harder.
What?
Sex noises.
I'm catching. For fuck's sake, I'm catching my breath, aren't I? I've had to walk upstairs and downstairs, and upstairs again. Look, the only way I can get decent signal is if I go to the tallest point in the house, and it's fucking freezing in here. So I've had to bring up the heater with me and plug it in, and just be grateful you got me at all tonight.
We love you, Hobbit. Never change.
Fuck, it's cold.
Right, so where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about your science issues? And Hobbit?
15 degrees here. Yeah. Cellular memory. What's that all about, eh?
Oh, is that what
and
you
I'll tell you what. My plan for tonight's show was going to be. Well, this was before the gas man decided to go. You didn't really need your internet cable, did you? My plan was going to be. I was going to be sat in front of my computer, and I was going to look up various subjects, and together with the audience, we were going to go through it and be all like, "Oh, we're finding out together," because I heard this story.
We can always do it another week when you got your internet back, if you want to do it properly.
Well, what did you want to do?
Well, we got loads of stuff. We got the Apollo moon rocks. We can go over the science, the shark science again.
Oh yeah, Shark Science Revisited. That's always a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking
of Shark Science Revisited,
there's probably some...
that Twitter thing with the meat that's moving on its own. You said that might be shark.
Yeah. So when meat gets freshly butchered, or when it's still living, it will twitch and tremble when it's been cut. Like, if you've ever had surgery under local anaesthetic, you may notice your muscles twitching under the knife.
Ooh.
Because, it doesn't matter that you can't feel the pain, you can still feel it, and it's unpleasant, and your muscles start spasming, which, much to the consternation of the surgeon, it's just like, oh, I'm sorry for having an involuntary reaction to you causing lacerations within my epidermal layers.
Well, actually, my missus has that kind of problem, but with needles. Whenever they try and take bloods from her, her veins move.
That's me. I have that as well. Actually.
Do you? Because she goes to the nurse. She's go, well, be careful what you do. This is how you get blood out of me because I've found out this is how you do it. And then the nurses always go, oh yeah, likely story.
Yeah, I had that problem as well. Like,
yeah.
They're like, stick needles in you and wait for the blood to come out. It's like, it's not working. And then I just say, wait a minute, just give it a minute. And then it starts doing it. It's there I am with fucking needles all in all me. It's just like, patience.
But the last time she went, the nurse actually listened to her, so it got done properly.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But when they draw blood from you, do they pop a vein or pop an artery? Which blood do they get?
The vein, obviously, because if it didn't artery, you'd be bleeding out.
Well, I've had a catheter inserted into an artery before, and they did withdraw blood from it. And the last thing I said before I went under, because when they injected it, that's when the anaesthetic went into my system. I said, "Well, that blood's bright red," and they said, "Yes, it's arterial blood. It's oxygenated."
Is that the dark stuff or the red stuff? The red stuff.
The artery's a high pressure thing, right? The veins are the low pressure, like on the way back.
Yeah, except for oh come on, I used to remember what they were called. You've got the exception being the veins and the arteries in your lungs are reversed. Right. So they effectively, your heart pumps out blood through your arteries, and this blood is yet to be oxygenated, so it's disseminated amongst your lungs, and then the veins, which are collecting this oxygenated blood, then send it back into your heart, so it can pump it out through the arterial system. And I think that's the only place in the body where the veins and the arteries are swapped over, where like one's carrying oxygenated, the other's carrying deoxygenated blood.
Ooh.
Does it kind of make sense? You need a high, like something which can cope with high pressure there.
Yeah.
So shall we go back to the original 7th of April 2022? Surprisingly little is known about how sharks sleep. Elasmo branch...
Oh yeah, you'll have to read this one out, and I'll interrupt you in this one.
Elasmo branch sleep expert Michael Liam Kelly, there you go, the Irish again, reveals a new research into this intriguing mystery. Do sharks sleep?
Hey,
so,
you should find out what he's up to now. You know, has he got his grant for more research into shark science?
Can you imagine how many Michael Liam Kellys there are?
Hello, I'm Michael Liam Kelly, PhD. My dissertation was in how much money can I milk from Assassinax to have a look at sharks.
Maybe he's like found Leonardo
the results are inconclusive.
There's like research into shark buttholes and fingering them.
Elasmo branch. So what's
the results are surprisingly inconclusive. Oh, wouldn't you like to know? Give us some grant money on my
I think you might want to check your noise gate, Hobbit.
Top of the morning.
I think you might want to check your noise gate, because I think that's because when you went really, really loud, you started cutting out.
I'm phone posting. I don't know anything about noise gates on this.
So elasmo branches, any of various cartilaginous.
Oh, that's easy for you to say now.
It's definitely easy. Fishes of the subclass Elasmo branch having 5 to 7 pairs of lateral gill slits, and including the shark's rays and skates. So Elasmo branch just means because they're cartilage. Splits. Yeah, so it's like sharks, rays and skates, because they're all similar ish, aren't they?
So apparently my gain setting is automatic, because it's like a phone, and it just like says, we know better than you how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to read what the chat's saying, but unfortunately you can't multitask on this because it's not a real computer.
Dom thinks he's got some blood in his alcohol stream. The pulmonary vein has oxygenated blood. The pulmonary artery is non-oxygenated because it's between your heart and lungs. I bet.
Well, of course it's the pulmonary system, because the French, well, of course they get it from the Latins. They don't call lungs, they call them the pulmons, les poumons.
The poumons.
We still call it the pulmonary system because we still use a bit of Latin.
And surrender.
So sharks used to figure prominently in my nightmares, coming after me in the ocean, rivers and swimming pools. But after spending some time with these elusive creatures...
why do
we need this preamble?
I really don't understand, why do people say, oh, did you know sharks are scary? It's like, are they really? I've never gone I
think if you're in the open ocean and there's one below you, I think they are pretty scary, I bet.
Maybe if one's having a nibble on your feet, that's scary. But I was because I was really
one of the most
cold,
funny things like that. Some woman was on a surfboard, ends up with this shark on the end of her leg. She poked it in the eye and it fucked off. Have you ever heard any of those close call jobs? Those close call jobs where they're you bang it on the nose, don't you, and it fucks off.
Yeah.
You jam a thumb in its butthole and it really doesn't like it. Crikey.
Blimey, Charlie.
I was. It's funny you mentioned sharks.
Is that the genetic memory of all sharks from Steve Irwin?
Yeah.
You know, to this day, he's still traumatizing the sharks.
Maybe it's from dolphins as well.
Dolphins.
Yeah, that's it. Oh,
I think we made a joke
I've
about
got
that last time, didn't we? We said,
one
like, what's
thing you sharks will never have: an opposable digit. The reason I'm mentioning it, funny saying about sharks was because. Oh yeah, jam an electrode in its bum. Results inconclusive. Give me more grant money. But no, I just happened to be in the living room today because I had to stoke up the fire for the boiler. And I just sort of thought, well, I've got no internet. I may as well sit here and watch telly. And I was watching BBC Two, and it was just like, he's a bloke who goes spearfishing for sharks. And he's like, oh, I'm really scared of sharks. I'm like, for fuck's sake. He goes to one of these cannibal islands in, funny enough, they're sort of half Arab, half Indian. These people that are there.
But it's the sharks he's worried about, is it?
And the language they've got is just like, that sounds like some dialect of him. Yeah, he's worried about the shark, not the cannibals he's sleeping with, and giving him like, oh, this is a nice soup, and it's like, yeah, it is, isn't it? We're having an old friend for dinner. So yeah, sharks. What's that all about then?
I don't know. I've had a few nightmares about sharks. I quite a while ago, I used to have a few nightmares. Like it was always falling off the edge of piers and docks and falling in the water, and there's a shark below me, kind of stuff. I don't know what that. Does it mean you're not getting enough?
When I was still at school, all right. Yeah, I think all dreams are about that.
Have a look at that
when I was in school, I used to have this dream about this cat that would be waiting for me in an alleyway, and it was like it started pouncing and attacking me.
Don't put humans are like sharks. The great ones are white. Instrumentalist says a shark isn't going to stab me outside Tesco's, and Dom says, did you know cows kill more people than sharks? I'm quite surprised cows kill any sharks at all. See,
cows kill more people than sharks. It's the punctuation
joke, isn't it? Do you know cows kill more people than sharks?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't.
It's a punctuation joke.
Yeah, I can't. Great. Okay. When I watch the chat replay of this, I will laugh then, but not now, because again, phone posting. Because the fucking gas man was like, "Nah, this cable's not part of the gas. Just cut through it."
Yeah. What do we need that for?
What do we need a gas main for? It's not like I run on gas here. My neighbours might complain, but they should be moving to coal as well. It'd do them good if they had coal. Be cheaper than gas. Our local fuel merchant will appreciate the extra custom.
So anyway, before I interrupted you, what were we talking about?
And the dustbins will be dust. Oh yeah, so anyway, sharks, they're crap, aren't they? I hate sharks. What is it? What is so great about sharks? I mean, do they taste good?
Well, to be fair, they haven't.
What's better, tuna or shark?
If something hasn't had to evolve in a couple of million years, I think they got it right in the first place, didn't they?
Lazy.
I mean, the only thing they've done is
laziness.
That's literally all they've done. Yeah, what about us? We went from being fish to people in that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Total grafters, us humans.
I don't believe you. This is like the time when Stephen J. James tried to tell me Macho Man Randy Savage is Jewish, and I'm just like, mate, he's a wrestler, he's not Jewish. You can't look. I get it right. His stage name is Randy Savage. Doesn't mean he's a Jew. Not everyone called Savage is Jewish.
Anyway,
I mean, there is that.
Back to sharks.
There was that telly. They're
Like the
crap,
sharks.
and I don't believe that. Look, my uncle wasn't a fish, and he's not a monkey.
If your uncle was Michael Fish, he would have been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also crap at telling the
And
weather.
he's like,
Some people are saying there's going to be some
yeah.
storms coming. Do you remember that one? The famous weather report.
my mate said there was a storm today. It's just like, what? It's cloudy. It's not storming.
No,
It
they're
was
supposed
up
to
here.
Mind you, there was a spot of.
The Met Office
It
had
was
their
in
knickers in
Scotland.
a twist, didn't they?
Oh well, it would be there. I mean, Scotland's fucking grim. We did get a spot of rain last night.
Well, weather's become news now, hasn't it?
There's that much going on in the world. But
Yeah.
anyway, sharks. What are they all about?
Sharks. How do they sleep?
How do they
Let's see
work?
if we can
Yeah.
find out. As the world's leading and only authority in sleep on a Lesbo branches. Elasmo branches. Lesbo branches. Elasmo branches. Sharks and rays. My son.
His name is Lesbo, and he studies all the sharks.
My research team and I have begun to unravel this enigma, and our latest findings of physiological evidence of sleeping sharks are the most conclusive on the topic yet. Circadian rhythms. Quiescence or inactivity is often the most basic behavioural characteristic that we associate with sleep. You're not inactive when you're asleep, are you?
No.
Well, you're not doing the dishes when you're asleep.
Well, if you got that thing, you are, aren't you?
There's
What, sleepwalking?
probably
Yeah.
like it's
somnambulism,
not
isn't it?
black and white, but there's probably a. Yeah, but you're not capable. Oh, fuck's sake! You're not capable of complex tasks when you're sleeping.
Well, you.
Yeah,
Like,
but he's
most
saying
people, the most they'll
inactivity.
do when they sleep.
The only time
Yeah.
you're inactive is when
Yeah.
you're unconscious. That's when you're inactive, and you're not really unconscious when you're asleep, are you?
Look, I can't define sleep, but I know when I'm asleep because I'm
Yeah.
not awake. Simple as.
It was indeed this behaviour that my team set out to identify when we began our investigations into the presence of sleeping sharks. Specifically, we studied the presence of circadian organised activity patterns. As sleep is controlled by the circadian clock, an internal biochemical oscillator.
Why
in
do
many
they keep
animals.
talking about circadian?
Did you know
Is
you've
there
got a
anything
clock
to
in
do
your
with
head, Robert?
cicadas?
Did you know there's a clock in your head? Did you know that?
Actually, yes, I do, and it's quite accurate. Like, I'm surprised it just like I sort of guessed the time because my grandmother used to ask me what the time was,
Yeah.
and I just guess, and then I look at the clock and it's like, oh, I'm 5 minutes out. Which, considering there's no clock in me, that's like pretty good, right? There literally be times like, oh, I don't know what the time is. I'll look out the window. It's 3:30.
So
It's like, just,
sharks are a unique group of vertebrates, however, as many species swim continuously to passively push oxygen-rich seawater over their gills. These are known as ram ventilators.
How do they know that? How do they know that's what they're
Because
doing?
he knows, Hobbit.
I mean, but where's the citation? I need a citation on this.
Other species
Come on,
manually pump seawater over their gills while remaining motionless, which are called buccal
Look, Stephen
pumpers.
J. James might be reviewing this, and he'd be like, guys, do you have any citation to back that fact up? They may
He always
just be
comes with
swimming
citations.
because they enjoy swimming. Have you ever thought that?
Look, he's wagging his tail.
This
and
is ridiculous.
Look at that shark there. He's wagging his tail and everything. Look, see how happy he is to be swimming.
Well, I can't see that shark wagging his tail. I'll have to imagine it.
A study we conducted in 2020 found the presence of daily activity patterns in all the species investigated, buccal pumpers and ram ventilators alike. Importantly, these patterns were found to be internally
Hey,
regulated.
this study was done back in 2020 or whenever, back when people were like, oh, well, you got to wear a mask if you're standing up, but when you're sat down, you can take it off because it's like, what if like you're a dwarf and you're walking into this sushi restaurant that serves shark. See, I'm keeping it relevant.
Yeah, but
and
we all know know the certain infectious virus doesn't go below like your knee height, right?
Yeah.
But it's frightened of Negroes and the knee growths, growing knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
that's why it doesn't affect children, right? Yeah, that's why it doesn't affect children.
But no, let's say you're a midget, or as they call them now, people of little, and you're walking into a restaurant,
you
right?
Can't say midget,
and they're saying like, "Oh, so you have to wear." It's like you have to, and then you go into the restaurant and like, "Oh, sir, you have to wear a mask," and it's like, "Come on, I'm at knee height, woman. Give me a break." Is that like, what's going on there? Oh, right. My point being with sharks, right? So they're doing the study in 2000.
Yeah.
But did they find like having the catch any diseases? Did they tell them to wash their flippers up after eating?
They weren't testing for long COVID.
Why not? Someone should have got like one of those long cotton buds and stuck it up their nose.
Importantly, these patterns were found to be internally regulated, circadian in nature, so the blokes learnt what circadian means, basically.
Look, who's the name of this shark scientist? Ian Michael Kelly?
John Michael Kelly.
Right, so this Professor John Michael Kelly...
No, it's Michael John
he missed
Kelly.
A trick.
What's his name? Hold on.
Oh, yeah, a likely fucking
Michael
story.
Liam.
So anyway...
Michael Liam Kelly. It's Mr. Michael Liam Kelly.
So anyway, so Jim Michael Kelly studying these sharks, he missed a trick there. Why was he studying sleep? He must have been asleep at the job. He should have gone, look, I'm going to stick these long cotton buds up the shark's nose and do swabs to see if I can find any germs in there. And if so, we can devise an inoculation regimen for the sharks. Because we want the sharks to,
safe and effective.
Because we don't want Granny Shark to be dead. Look, we're gonna have to tell these shoals of fish. Can you swim 6 feet apart because communicable diseases and all that? Why didn't they have those signs underwater, saying, "Look, can you swim 6 feet apart and stay safe, stay apart," showing that the brown fish and the white fish stay separate, like they did in the NHS.
When consuming food, please form an orderly queue. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
and these wear a mask when not swimming.
These were circadian nature in buccal pumping species. This was a major discovery and a great step in the right direction, but were periods of inactivity indicative of sleep? Hobbit?
This is awful. I mean, they're saying a great step in the right direction. Again, they missed a trick here. Why couldn't they have just said, look, it's a great swim in the general area. They're sailing towards the correct point, Why can't they just use some sort of
wind in their sails? They put some wind in their sails.
Yeah,
something like that.
They put the wind in their sails. The cut of their jib. I like the cut of your jib.
An animal's responsiveness and awareness of external stimulation is reduced when asleep. Did you know this, Hobbit? This is why this bloke's a scientist and you're just the pleb on the internet, Hobbit. This is why.
That's right, I did, yeah.
So let me get this straight. This guy who has, for all of his life, he's gone to school, and then he decided he enjoyed that so much that he wanted to do a bit more school.
Yeah.
And then he decided to enjoy that so much that not only did he do a bit more school, he's going to be now I'm going to further human knowledge so there can be even more schooling for people to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the wisdom of Professor JMK saying, guys, get this right. Yeah, that's it.
MLK.
Jim Michael Kelly, Professor of Shark Science at Dublin University says, guys, get this right. Did you know sharks, when they're asleep, right? Now hold your hats. This research is yet to be peer reviewed. But I'm telling you, they're less aware of things when they're asleep than when they're awake.
No.
Controversial, sure.
And we found out that all animals are the same.
Have you got a citation for that, Fraser? Because honestly, I'm thinking like,
as sleep researchers,
correlation doesn't equal causation.
As sleep researchers, we can exploit this ubiquitous sleep characteristic to behaviourally distinguish sleep from quiet restfulness. Like,
so what
is the shark contemplating?
This is it. This is how they tested it.
Hang on.
Is
the shark asleep, or is it deeply compensating?
Well, this is it. This is how they tested it. They got a guy in a scuba gear, like, to swim round the shark when they thought it was asleep, and the next day they were, posting from.
They probably got a woman on the blob to do it, just to be 100% sure.
Hang on. Sorry to be the Stephen J. James in the room here, but like, what if the shark says, "I wasn't asleep. I was just resting my fins."
My eyes.
I was just doing some quiet restfulness. I just contemplating.
I was just
some sartre.
You know what it actually was? The shark was just looking at them, thinking, "What the fuck are you doing?" That's all it was. It wasn't asleep. It was just like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It was stunned, shocked at your stupidity.
Oh shit! I forgot. We forgot, didn't we? How they checked that they were asleep or not? Do you remember this?
Oh yes, the electrodes, wasn't it?
Our 2021 study found that buccal pumping sharks were less responsive to mild electrical pulses following 5 minutes of inactivity. This becomes just cattle.
So we're going to jam we're going to jam this electrode up its bum. Does it like it? Oh, it's white now! Oh, he didn't like it! Oh, he didn't like that!
This became the criteria for our working definition of sleep in these animals.
So, this guy, right? I mean, obviously, you start off with human subjects before
do you think you know about sleep?
Shark ones, because...
Do you think you know about sleep? You were like a little baby. Did you know sleep is also internally regulated? Right. So that animals can recover lost sleep by sleeping more.
What? No way. You're just telling me this now.
Wait, they can recover
lost sleep by sleeping more? Is there not like a thing where they just...
Holy shit.
Isn't there like some sort of thing where you're doing the study and just gone like, right, how are we going to test if someone's asleep? I know. Shall we say, "Oh, you're asleep"? Hey, you're asleep. No. What you need to do is get this cattle prod and give him a jab up the arsehole. See if that wakes him up.
Are you asleep yet? Yeah.
Oh, he did wake him up, did it? Oh, he must have been asleep then.
So this characteristic was absent.
Is that what's going on?
So this characteristic
is literally just a... Sorry.
Oh, go on then, Hobbit. Finish.
It's literally that. I was going to say you're about to tell me the answer here, but is it literally just a case of we found out if they're asleep or not by jabbing an electrode up? Well, this is the bit we laughed
at. This is the bit that had us like the most incredulous. This characteristic was absent in the sharks in our study.
Wait, what characteristic was absent?
The sleep. They can recover lost sleep by sleeping more.
Yeah.
They did not make up sleep following periods of sleep deprivation. Yeah, but have you proved that they're sleeping?
They're sleeping.
So, like, you keep jabbing an electrode up the shark's arsehole, and now you're like going, that's interesting. They're not making up for lost sleep. It's almost as if they're going this place is unsafe to sleep in. Are they
trying to cattle prod its anus to make it fall asleep? Is that the test? What are they trying to do? Well, if you're being continually poked in the arse with a cattle prod, are you actually going to fall asleep?
Well, this is actually a good point you've made, because I can sympathise with these sharks, right? Because my current environment
it's like when you're in hospital
is really
and the nurse keeps going, "I'm just checking you're asleep."
Well, I was asleep.
Every time they come round to check your fucking chart, don't they? Yeah. Like you wake up and you're like, "What the hell? You fucking woke me up, didn't you?"
Yeah.
Every single
it's
time.
Like the reason I can sympathise with these sharks is at 7 a.m. they decide that's the perfect time to start using the pneumatic hammer on the road, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm glad we waited until 7 o'clock to do this and not later in the day.
It kind of follows the sleep stuff. Speaking of sleep deprivation, do you think that nurses do it to make patients more pliable, the sleep deprivation? Because that's what cults do to make you more conducive to being brainwashed, don't they?
I said it once to here's a thing which they do, right? It's like, hang on, you just checked me before. No, that was the junior doctor. They're doing pre-rounds. Right. Do you not read the notes? Well, your condition might have changed since then, so we're doing the checks now. Right, but I was asleep, and then I tried to get back to sleep again. Now you've woken me up. Now it's daytime, and everything's noisy, and I can't sleep. Can I have some heroin, please? No, we don't just give people heroin. All right, can I have some morphine then? No.
So anyway, so the recovering lost sleep. So they say they did not make up sleep following periods of sleep deprivation. This phenomenon is also absent during sleep in other marine fishes. So some would say that maybe their hypothesis in what sleep is different in fish than it is in other animals.
Wait,
maybe.
So
Do you know what this reminds me
cattle
of?
prodded a fish's arse as well.
Yeah.
It's what the conclusion is.
You know
Well,
what
that one
this
fell
might
asleep and made up for it.
Oh no!
I mean, this
No, let me do
professor
the next paragraph is going to blow your mind, Hobbit. These somewhat conflicting results highlight an important point. Behaviour can be deceptive and misleading. Animals can appear to be asleep while being awake, and vice versa. Sadly, behaviour alone is often not enough to reliably identify sleep in animals.
Fuck's sake. So this Professor John Michael Kelly, who's, the world's foremost expert
It might
on
as well be
shark sleep.
Professor JMK, hadn't it?
But so he's doing this research, right? At any point does he think to himself, have I created an unsafe environment for these sharks? Are they associating sleeping here with, I better not sleep here, otherwise I'll get an electrode jammed up my bum?
Well, they've said that.
Do sharks have bums?
But they've said that so sleep is internally regulated so that animals can recover lost sleep by sleeping more. But they've said the phenomenon is also absent during sleep in other marine fishes. So I don't think they've really figured out what sleeping in marine, how fish sleep.
Do you know what this reminds me of as well? Because
I don't think they've even figured out how fucking humans sleep.
This flawed logic here.
Yeah,
it's like the I use it as an example of flawed logic, right? So the story is: did you know spiders have got ears on their legs? So the scientists did an experiment, right, where they put the spiders on the table, and then they slammed their hand down on the table, and they can hear the hand slapping down on the table, and they run away from it. And then the scientists removed the legs from the spiders and repeated the hand slapping,
and it didn't run
and
away.
they no longer ran away. Yeah, so
maybe it can't run away if it's got no legs.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
No, you're not the scientist here, Fraser. The scientists proved that they've got ears on their legs. They couldn't hear the slap, and because they couldn't hear the slap, they didn't run away. The fact that they took their legs away is immaterial to the conclusions. I mean, next you'll be saying that sunlight affects the weather. And as we all know, the IPCC have said sunlight has no effect on climate whatsoever.
And if you give more tax, that changes the weather back to normal.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
Well, it makes the weather better. But apparently making the weather better doesn't include making it warmer.
So
the only way to make
in the
weather better is making it colder and more cloudy.
Is it to remove their gills and see if they can fall asleep when they're still?
Well, I think what they need to do
if you remove their gills and they don't
remove...
swim, and does that mean they're asleep now? Is that how it works?
I think if they plug up their arseholes so they can no longer be electrocuted, then you can no longer give them electric shocks to ascertain whether they're asleep or not, and then you can find shark science is tied to the obstructions in the shark's anus. No, you can say that the shark is more likely to sleep if there's more insulation in the shark's anus, preventing electric eel attacks. Is that do electric eels go around zapping all these animals? Hey, are you asleep? Are you asleep? And then they zap them.
Yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious, wouldn't it? Unless it was
asleep?
bees. Yeah.
It's well, you will be now. Bzzzt.
So to conclusively verify our working definition, this is to conclusively verify their working definition of sleep. In buccal pumping sharks, remember that proper sharks are the other type of shark. So they're getting really bogged down in the buccal pumping sharks. So the buccal pumping sharks are the ones that can stay still and pump water over their gills, whereas the other kind of shark have to swim around to.
So the buccal sharks are like the crap sharks you see in Viz.
Yeah. More than 5 minutes of inactivity is sleep. So their definition now is
okay.
All the stuff's got out the window. It's more than 5 minutes of not moving.
I can do that. Does that mean I'm asleep?
Yeah, my team. Well, you might be contemplating because sharks do that apparently. My team set out to find physiological evidence of sleep that aligned with what we had seen behaviourally, even though he said that stuff doesn't align with what they've already said.
Give me money.
Yeah, Gibbs money. To do this, we
results in conclusive Gibbs more.
Yeah. To do this, we recorded changes in metabolic rates in New Zealand's draughts board shark via recordings of oxygen consumption over a 24-hour period. So they've changed it now. It's oxygen consumption now.
How do they test for that? How do they test for how much shark could
stick a tube in its arse?
Well, you put an electrode. I was going to say you put an electrode in its bum.
How and then you know, see how much oxygen it's like.
Look, details, right? What you do is you stick an electrode in the shark's bum.
They put a mirror in front of the shark's face to see if it's breathing.
No, you put an electrode in the shark's anus and zap it, and then we'll work out the rest of the details on the way. But keep zapping the sharks.
What is the apparatus to detect oxygen consumption?
Look, Professor John Michael Kelly, PhD, said, "Look, I don't know much about sharks, but what I do know is you need to zap them in the bumhole."
So a drop in metabolic rate during sleep. So it'd be like EEGs and things like that, and then would it, Hobbit? How do they measure oxygen consumption in people? Will be the easier question.
Well, you put a thing over the breath. And then you can measure the way they do it is they sort of you can easily measure the amount of carbon dioxide someone's exhaling.
Okay, right, yeah.
You get them to blow through a tube.
So would they put a sensor over the gills? Near the gills to measure the exhaust from the gills?
Yeah, that's probably it. They're probably just measuring water intake into the gills.
Yeah.
So the way to do that is by putting an O2 sensor in the shark's butthole.
So a drop in metabolic rate during sleep has been reported in many animals and is considered a reliable physiological indicator of sleep, even though 5 minutes of activity was a paragraph ago. It's all over the fucking place, this, isn't it? We also recorded subtle behaviours associated with sleep in other animals, such as eye state, eye open closed, and body posture, upright or flat. We found whether you see the sharks tucked in at night, we found there to be no significant difference in metabolic rates between swimming sharks and sharks engaging in periods of inactivity that lasted less than 5 minutes. So they've really gone for the
Do professors dream of electronic sharks?
Yeah.
I don't know. They dream of inactive for 5 minutes sharks. When sharks were inactive for 5 minutes or longer, however, metabolic rates dropped dramatically. This physiological change was also accompanied by a conspicuous shift in posture, with sharks transitioning... Oh shit, I remember this. With transitioning from an upright position, sitting up on their pectoral fins, to a completely recumbent position. Eye state, however, was found.
Yes, and then we learnt what recumbent was.
Yeah,
but I've forgotten what recumbent means. So if we could repeat that,
I'll finish the paragraph, and you can talk while I'm finding what recumbent means.
I still want to know what a circadian thing is.
I'll have a look.
If it's got anything to do with circadians.
It seems fucking new age to me. No, you're thinking of a cicada. Eye state,
I'm
however, was
thinking
found to be
jerk-off
unrelated to the
pistols,
shark's
actually.
state of consciousness, as the animals were often observed sleeping with their eyes open. Right, so I'll find what recumbent means, Hobbit.
I'm thinking of it. It means they're resting on their pectoral fin, or is it their dorsal fin?
Lying down, especially in a position of comfort or rest, reclining, resting idle, resting on the surface from which it arises, used of an organ or other structure. So resting on the surface.
That really helps.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it puts its fins maybe close to its body then.
Then it crosses its fins.
Do professors dream of recumbent sharks?
So sitting up on their pectoral fins to a completely recumbent. What, they're laying on their back? That's got to be uncomfortable, isn't it?
How does a shark lay down when it's vertically, like,
Yeah, good question. I really want to email Professor John Michael Kelly and just say to him, look, Jim, Professor, if that is your real name, have you found anything else about sharks now?
So, just to clear this up,
how do you know if you're asleep?
A circadian cycle, or rhythm, is a natural oscillation that repeats roughly every 24 hours.
So where does the word circadian come from, then?
Cicada, right? That's the bug.
No, it's CIR. Circadian.
What's a circade, then?
Yeah.
Just having a flick. The term circadian
maybe it means
it's derived from circa, which is about.
Oh.
Circa and dies, which means day. So it's about a day, is what it roughly means.
Oh, it's about a day then.
Yeah.
So literally, a circadian rhythm it's about a day rhythm.
Yeah, yeah, it's about a day rhythm.
Oh, so
look, if people just used normal words instead of big people words, there'd be less confusion.
So it's a pattern of doing something over a course of
24-hour period. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about a day rhythm. It's a rhythm that takes about a day.
Yeah.
Circa a day.
Words are great, aren't they?
Yeah. So I've got no idea what they're talking about a shark in a recliner, whatever the fuck they're talking about. Taken together, these data are the most conclusive evidence for sleeping sharks and verify our previous behavioural findings. So they've changed the definition 3 times now, but it's absolutely proved without a doubt that sharks sleep, we think.
Wait.
Maybe.
No, they haven't conclusively proven it, because they got to the bit where, like, actually, we're not sure if sharks do sleep at all. Can you give us more grant money?
That'll be at the end.
Well, this is only one type of shark. What about the shark that...
Yeah, but I like how they keep using the term conclusively proven multiple times when they've done anything but.
Yeah.
I mean, if I said...
Go on then.
I've conclusively studied the Mandarin language and I know it like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
And then just at the end of it saying, oh, actually, I don't speak Chinese. But I've conclusively studied Mandarin.
Without a doubt.
Is it that the Irish have like a... Is it just that the Irish, because I'm assuming, Professor John Michael Kelly here, has he just got like a working definition of conclusive, which is the exact fucking opposite of conclusive? Like when Professor says I'll be there in 5 minutes, does he mean I'll be there not at all?
I'll be there about a day.
Yeah. First of all, I just got to jam this electrode up the shark's bum.
Sleep has been found in all animals studied to date, stretching as far back on the evolutionary scale as flatworms and jellyfish. As the earliest living jawed vertebrates, sharks play an important role in helping us understanding the evolutionary history of sleep in vertebrates. Our research has come a long way in uncovering the previously unanswered question of sleeping sharks, but we have only touched the tip of the iceberg. Now that we know that,
they mean
at
the
least,
tip of the dorsal fin.
Hold on, conclusively, now we know that at least some sharks do indeed sleep.
Yeah, there we are. There we go.
The next question to answer is how they sleep.
Oh. I don't want to know anymore.
Oh.
This is just bullshit.
Surely the how becomes. Surely the how comes before the.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't know how they sleep, how do you know they're sleeping?
They're sleeping.
I think I know how this guy got his grant money, right? He went to the board of like doling out the grant money for shark science and what have you, and he said to them, "Look, guys, I want to do this," and he's laid out all the stuff that he said to you, like now, and then the grant board is like, that doesn't really sound like very concrete science. You keep using the word conclusively. We don't think you know what the word conclusively means. And then what he did, he says, "No, you don't understand. I've got this electrode, you see, and I'll jam up the shark's bum hole," and then he jabs it into like the bum hole of the grant people and jabs them, and he gives them a zap. And he says, "What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on zapping this until you sign the grant money over." And then they signed it, and it's like, great, now I'm going to research shark science. See you in 7 years. Or however long it took him to spend the grant money.
But that's not even like, I don't know what percentage of sharks are, but so nothing is known about sleeping ram ventilating sharks.
Yeah, that's not one of them.
I don't know which the greater number is, ram or the other sort. Their need for constant swimming to facilitate gas exchange suggests they've likely evolved. Listen to this utterly conclusive, sorted it language. Interesting adaptations to permit sleep under this unusual lifestyle. Our group is now conducting electrophysiological studies of brain activity that will provide comprehensive insight into the form that sleep takes in these animals.
Electrophysiological sounds a lot better than we've jammed a couple of electrodes up its arse. I hope the audience appreciates that.
Just say,
if you want to do...
If you have questions for Michael Liam Kelly...
he's
postdoctoral research fellow, neuroscience, Simon Fraser University.
Okay, so Professor John Michael Kelly is working at the Fraser University for Bastards. I got it. I'll write him an email there and just say, what are you smoking, and when are you going to share some with me?
That's the more important question. What is he smoking? So there you go. Absolutely, totally conclusive proof. Absolutely, totally conclusive proof that that sharks maybe sort of sleep, but only half.
Just need
of
more
them.
money to find out.
But only half.
Yeah,
but only the easy ones.
The easy.
And even then, we're not sure if they're just resting their gills a bit or if they're actually asleep. Can we have some more money? Look, these electrodes don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
I think it's a shock at the fucking stupidity of the human. That's what the shark's thinking.
Actually,
that's why it goes still. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
I've found the links to I think I put them in the other chat. I can't remember where I put them now. But I found the links to like they actually teach kids this in school, in science at school. Science journal for kids and teens, where they go through it.
Man, you know what? I'm like, if I went to school now, the amount of like, imagine just how much science has advanced in the decades we've left school. They now know conclusively that possibly maybe sharks sleep, but we don't really know. Wasn't there supposed to be like if sharks dream, and then he was just like, I'm not sure how to measure that. I'll see if sharks sleep. I'm not sure how to measure that. Maybe I'll just measure how much sharks enjoy it when they shove an electrode up their bum. When they swim away from me, it means they like it, right? Is this guy like the Jimmy Savile of sharks?
Jimmy Savile of sharks. So what's that?
Now then, how's about that then? Professor Ian Michael Kelly here. working at the Simon Fraser University of Shark Science.
There's no date on this article. What's the problem with this one?
Of course not.
Because there's an article in Joe called "Scientists Finally Crack Mystery of If Sharks Can Sleep." I'm kind of guessing they don't.
If they can sleep.
I want to look
but
up
we need
this.
to know how they sleep. That's the real question.
Yeah.
How do they sleep?
I would look up this shark scientist's
why do
name.
they
And
sleep?
see,
Once we discover
I want to see if I can find up anything more about him. So he's professor. He is a professor, right?
Yeah,
Michael
Michael Liam. Yeah.
Professor Doctor
Michael Liam.
John
Professor
Michael
Dr.
Kelly.
Pastor.
No,
Professor Dr. Pastor.
Professor Doctor Martin Luther.
Dr. Pastor.
Ian Michael.
It's not Ian. It's
Kelly.
Michael Liam. Michael
Liam Kelly.
Ian Liam.
No,
Michael
Liam.
Professor Ian.
No.
Michael. God, this is really difficult to do without a
Interdimensional Lizard's done it. He's Swimmy Savile.
Swimmy Savile.
You know what? If I just type in Professor of Shark Science, maybe that will turn it up. Professor of Shark Science, because this name is just too confusing. You'll be forever known to me now as Professor JMK.
Yeah, Professor JMK of Shark Science.
Top 10 universities to study sharks. Sharkresearch.com.
Simon Fraser University.
Error establishing a database connection. I guess the sharks were asleep at that time.
No, maybe they were awake. Maybe they were awake because they'd used all the electrodes at once and zapped the power supply to the net.
Oh, here we go. This is from SciJournal. Top 16 famous shark scientists that you should know. 2023. Oh. This is definitely not an AI-generated article. To celebrate scientists and scientific advancements, we have collected a list of the most famous shark scientists that will inspire us for the greater good. Sharks are a fascinating group of animals. They have an amazing story to tell, from the ancient beginnings as bottom dwellers to ability to adapt to change environment. Yeah, this is ChatGPT. For example, did you know that there is a shark species that can live in both fresh and salt water? Or that there are many different types of sharks whose diet consists primarily of fish?
Did you see that alligator in the sea the other
primarily,
day?
Their diet consists...
No.
Yeah, there's an alligator living in the sea. It fucking come out and tried to attack someone.
It's no wonder so many people are fascinated by these incredible creatures. If you're one of them and looking for some famous shark scientists to inspire you, check out this list. Number 16, Nick Whitney, shark science pioneer. Nick Whitney is a scientist best known for his research in shark science. But I like this. They describe me as he's a scientist best known for his research in shark science. Well, the clues in the fucking name, innit? I mean, this is a list of top 16 shark scientists you should know. With the advancement in technology, Whitney employed the use of the accelerometer in his research. Oh, so he's not using an electrode. To understand how sharks interact with each other. He's also used this same method to study other species of animals, such as pythons, fish, and sea turtles. Who gives a fuck about those? We're talking about sharks here. Number 15, Gillian Morris break. Gillian Morris break.
Hyphenated, I guess.
A Morris break? Isn't the Morris break? I mean,
that's terrible.
I don't know anything about. I think MG's just.
Do you know what he's a doctor of? What? He's a doctor of philosophy.
Who? Who?
Dr. JMK.
Yeah, that's a PhD.
Anyone?
Yeah, but
Gillian Morris break.
Hobbit. I've put it in the shark science thing.
Yeah, so his dissertation's in shoving an electrode up a shark's arsehole. That's what his thesis
and he works for the Department of Psychology, so he's not even like he's not even like a biologist.
That's really good, and I'm really pleased to hear that. And So anyway, Gillian Morris Brake, one of the world's most famous shark
I think
conservationists. Well, that's not science. Shark conservation, that's not science, that's conserving sharks. As one of the renowned marine biologists, she has made it a mission to promote the conservation. So in other words, she's Rachel Carson. Fuck you. What's your name again? Gillian Morris Brake. Go fuck yourself, Rachel Carson.
So his publications are Energy Conservation characterises sleeping sharks.
What?
Energy conservation, or how we used to use low power electrodes to jam up their arsehole.
Insights into first feeding of newly hatched paralarvae of the Merobenthic octopus. So he's an octopus nonce as well. And then he's
what was it? He decided sharks were too difficult, so he went on to octopus.
Yeah.
Behavioural sleep in 2 species of buccal pumping sharks. Diverse activity rhythms in sharks. Evidence for sleeps. Oh, you can get. Do you want to read the?
Yeah. Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, that those 2 papers are kind of related to them: activity and buccal sharks, and then pumping of them. So Jeff Carrier, he's number 14. He's a shark scientist and an author. He's written books called Discovering Sharks and Sharks and Their Relatives, among others. He's researched nurse sharks. Did you know nurse sharks? So they're like pit bulls, they're nanny dogs. everyone knows sharks are like the nurses of the sea. They're just nursing those fish. It's like, oh, it's a poorly fish. I'm going to nurse it.
Just nursing those surfers.
Number 13, John Chisholm, a pioneer in marine biology. Well, that's not shark scientist. John Chisholm is a shark scientist. Well, you just said he was a marine biologist. What? Make your mind up. John Chisholm is a shark scientist who identified more than 500 white sharks. Is he like a white shark supremacist? He's also well known for incorporating technology. And she's like, oh, he jams an electrode up their bumhole too. Chisholm was particularly interested in predatory and migratory behaviours of marine organisms, including basking sharks.
Right, Hobbit, there are many ways we've done an hour on shark science. Fucking moon rocks, how do they work? Do you want to know?
Oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm still going through this list. I want to see if John Michael Kelly's in the list.
Well, he's not going to be, because he's not even a biologist.
Oh, that's weird, isn't it? There are many ways you can use technology to study sharks, but John has made it a priority to use this information to help protect them from extinction. Wouldn't
being a biologist kind of help you when figuring out whether something sleeps or not?
I'll tell you what, if you want to conserve sharks and like prevent them going extinct, just stop jabbing electrodes up their arseholes. The more information about where sharks are and where they're going, the better we can protect them from being overfished or hunting down for their fins.
Okay, so
Number
just
12.
Big net around Japan so they can't go near it. Okay?
Yeah.
More accurately, China.
Well, yeah, it's okay, that area, general area. The South China Sea, just build a big net so they can't swim into the...
If Rachel Carson banned the Chinese instead of DDT, she would have accomplished her goals. But unfortunately, she's too short-sighted to do that because she's a woman. Number 12, Carissa Lear, a pioneer in shark science. They're all fucking pioneers, these dickheads. A shark scientist and conservationist. Carissa Lear is notable for his research. Hang on. Carissa Lear is notable for his research. Carissa Lear. Carissa, that's a woman's name. There's a picture of a woman holding a shark here. Anyway, it's notable for his research on the factors that threaten ray fauna and sharks.
Oh dear.
He highlights human impacts, climate changes, and coastal developments as the key factors. His pronouns are he, him.
Are we saying that he is definitely not?
What we got next?
Yeah. He's not.
Lear uses electronic tagging as one technique to sew sharp, so another, electrodes up the bumhole. Number 11, Yanis Papastamanatou. He made a souvlaki out of sharks.
I do struggle.
He's a foremost expert in shark science.
Can I play the play the Alan Brazil clip?
What?
What
clip?
The Greek names. You heard that clip, haven't you?
You're breaking up, or I'm breaking up. Yanis Papastamamitou is a marine scientist who's made it specific to study, like, how many plates can you throw at sharks before they start dancing? He got his start studying marine science in college. Well, that's surprising. As he continues his education career path, he expanded to research how humans can interact with sharks.
Because you've mentioned a Greek name, I'm going to play this clip. You should be able to hear it.
What's the matter, you? Hey.
Portugal take on Greece in the big opener. Now let's get a Greek point of view from the Greek daily newspaper Eleftheris Typos. Goodness me, I hope I pronounced that right. And let's say very good morning to the next guest, George Kapopoulos.
Easy for you to say.
Hold on, George Kapopoulos. George, I'm sorry, I'm struggling with Greek. I always have struggled with Greek names. George, good morning.
Good morning. You didn't do too badly.
I sound like an Indian.
There's nothing like what he said. Number 10, Melissa Marquez.
I do struggle with those Greek names.
Oh, God, what a dirty bitch. Melissa Marquez, the mother of sharks. Not satisfied with the tequila donkey show.
Is that like a
Melissa Marquez.
Is that like a pit bull mummy, is it?
She's a Mexican shark scientist who gets knocked up by sharks.
No, fuck off. What?
Is that what they call a Tijuana shark show, is it?
Well, look, Melissa Marquez, yeah, that's it. You know, it's the it's the Baja shark show. You know, the Tijuana donkey show's not enough for you.
Yeah.
Number 9, Toby Daly Engel, a shark expert. Toby Daly Engel, who identifies as a she, he, is an American marine scientist who studies how reproduction and temperature changes affect sharks. Her work brings field. Why, if your name's Toby, are you a woman?
My name's not Toby.
Like Toby. The name is Toby. Toby Daly Engel.
Remember Roots Hobbit? My name isn't Toby. My name's not Toby.
Oh, yeah. So, Kunta Kinte, Daly Engel, a shark expert. Her work brings field ecology, genomics, and modelling data to understand the behaviours of marine animals. Yet, studies still are not sure why she hasn't got a girl's name and is known as Toby. Number 8, Gregory Skomal, a white sharks expert. Gregory Skomal is an American marine biologist who developed an interest in marine science at a young age. Really. He was fascinated by sharks, but it wasn't until his teenage years he began exploring his sexuality with sharks. Gregory Skomal is known for his research on the behaviour of white sharks. He uses accelerometer tags to comprehensively overview the shark's behavior, so he sticks a GPS up their bumhole. Where did you say he attached the tags? It attaches the tags to the sharks. It doesn't say where it attaches them to.
The fin, innit?
Although Skomal is best known for his work on white sharks.
They go route one, don't they? Dorsal fin, don't they?
You'd like to think it's the dorsal fin, but I know they're jamming it straight up its bumhole.
Those weird things.
He's also worked with many other types.
Those things that hang down the back, they're the male sharks, aren't they? You know, the one with looks like big saggy bollocks hanging down the back. Apparently that's a male shark, I think.
I don't actually. All I know about sharks is that they lay eggs, and the eggs have got little sharks in them, and if the fishermen get the shark eggs, they're supposed to. Yeah. You can donate them to aquariums, and they'll hatch them into new sharks. Oh, he doesn't just work with white sharks. Like, some of his best friends are black sharks. Number 7, Barbara Block, a pioneer in marine science. They're all pioneers, these things. Barbara Block is a marine biologist who's made it a life's mission to study marine animals. Well, I mean, that's kind of pertinent. Her research on shark metabolism has helped scientists understand how sharks are able to live in such a wide range of temperatures. She pioneered research on shark migration by developing electronic tags that be tracked in real time. What's best Barbara
maybe the
Block
psychologist geezer could have spoken to an actual biologist.
Hold on. So we have GPS tags that work in real time in the open ocean, and yet GPS doesn't work for an aeroplane over open ocean. Okay.
So something about GPS ocean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
you
GPS
broke up.
doesn't work. GPS doesn't work over open ocean, yet they can track in real time GPS on sharks in the ocean.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So what's the best Barbara Block quote? Human biology has made it to Mars.
Okay.
We are transmitting gorgeous pictures from it. Yet we have not explored our own planet. 2/3 of it is covered with oceans. Then are still mysterious places. Well, that's not got anything to do with sharks. Number 6, Jasmine Graham, marine conservationist. She's an ooga booga. So less said about that, the better. Number 5, Catherine MacDonald, a pioneer in marine science. They're all just pioneers. Catherine MacDonald is an American marine conservation biologist who specializes in shark science. Co-founder of the field school from.
How can they all be pioneers of shark science?
Well,
the school's mission is to provide students with the tools.
Dom said this is the worst episode of Top of the Pops ever.
For fuck's sake. What a load of bollocks. Number 4, Chris Fallows discovered breaching behaviour of sharks. And in at number 4 today, Chris Fallows. What makes Chris Fallows famous? He's a South African shark scientist who's made some amazing discoveries about the great white shark. Oh. He's best known for his discovery of the natural predation and breaching behaviour of sharks. This is, I hope you're enjoying this pretentious voice. This was groundbreaking because it was the first time anyone had seen this behaviour in action. Chris Fallows is also known for his contributions to understanding great white sharks as they relate to the ecosystem. He studied how they interact with other predators and prey species. What is the best Chris Fallows quote?
So what? He was a pioneer of watching a shark eat another animal.
Yes. Hello, I am South African. I have my South African voice ready. I am always careful and knowingly taking calculated risks. This is what I have done my whole life.
Utskli, Oraka. Fucking like Albania Hobbit.
Did you enjoy the South African accent? Number 3, Sylvia Ann Earle.
I'm playing your
1935 to present. The lady. The lady who fight to save our oceans. Well, how's she getting on with that then?
How's that going for you?
Sylvia Alice Earle is an American oceanographer, marine biologist, and explorer specializing in protecting ocean life. She was born in New Jersey in 1935. God, she's getting on a bit. Earle is best known for a role in
Hobbits
the
putting out.
Oh no, we can still hear the Top of the Pops music though.
Orders a global group that fights to protect how well the atmosphere. She served as an environment bit. On 2021, she appeared in a Netflix documentary called Seaspiracy, which was about the climate change crisis of Ebola AIDS in the oceans.
Oh, I found out what that bit of music's called, Hobbit. It's called At the Sign of the Swinging Cymbal by Brass Incorporated.
Sorry, can you repeat? Okay, I'll listen back to the replay because I'll be able to hear that on the show because it's breaking up for me. Okay. The best Sylvia Alice Earle quote is, No water, no life. No blue, no green. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, you could tell that's the 110 IQ points working there. I can hear the cogs. God, it took her she's 93 years old. It took her all of her life to come up with that.
93 years of pure
number
midwit.
2. Yeah, exactly. At number 2, Dr. Austin Gallagher, marine biologist and conservationist. Dr. Austin Gallagher.
Is he named himself after his favourite singer and his favourite film?
Yeah.
Austin Powers.
After his favourite. I was going to say after his favourite car manufacturer, Austin.
Austin Healey.
He's an American marine biologist. He was. Yeah, his favourite car was the Austin 7. Arc Science. This multiple award-winning scientist is recognised for his creativity and the ability to produce impactful research in the ocean environment. He has written over 100 peer-reviewed scientific papers. Take that, Professor John Michael Kelly. Anyway, who's number 1? And number 1 this week in Shark Scientists is Eugene Clark, 1922 to 2015. The shark lady who fought for marine conservation. Fuck off, Rachel Carson. Final thoughts. John Michael Kelly isn't a real scientist anyway. What does he know about sharks? Go fuck yourself. John Michael Kelly, I hope you're watching this right now. You didn't make the list.
He's a
fuck
big fan
you.
of the show, John Michael Kelly.
Yeah.
Can we just change the title of this to John Michael Kelly, I don't appreciate you?
Should I put his proper name or John Michael Kelly so then we have all of the JMKA logs going, what the fuck is this?
Maybe they'd learn about sharks and all that. Yeah.
So Hobbit, you ask me, what's happened to NASA's missing moon rocks?
On the floor, everybody walk the shark dinosaur. Oh wait, hang on. Can we get Stephen J. James on this bit?
Yeah.
Because you know Stephen J. James, he's a good moon rocks appreciator.
I believe the phrase is NASA shield.
NASA shield.
Well, he has got shares in SpaceX, though.
He's got shares in NASA as well. Moon rocks collected during the Apollo space missions, which were handed out to the nations of the world, have been reported missing by NASA. But what has happened to them? So basically, anybody who went to the White House, like, LOL, do you want some moon rock? I think. The US Space Agency.
Just so we're clear, because Hunter Biden
handed out rock. Yeah, they were just doing that with moon rock.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, eat some.
Now, just to make this clear, in case anybody was wondering. Yeah, moon rocks in this case means rocks from the moon.
Didn't they give the Dutch some space rock and it turned out to be like petrified wood or something?
But they gave them fake space rocks because the Dutch are scum. and then the Dutch said, well, we'll invent moon rocks. And do you know what moon rocks are? Have you heard of these things? Professor John Michael Kelly.
2 parts Play-Doh.
No?
What?
No, Professor John Michael Kelly knows moon rocks. What you do is you get a bud and you coat it in sticky hash, and then it's a bit like a chocolate truffle but of drugs. And then with the sticky hash, you dip it in the crystal powder you get from the bud, and then it's all sparkly like a moon rock. And then you smoke it and get fucked up.
Then?
Yeah. How do you make it grainy?
Grey. How do you turn it grey?
Yeah, how do you make it grey like proper moon rock?
Well, you stick it in the bong and you light it, and then the ashes turn grey. There, moon rocks.
Should I say the US Space Agency or the alleged US Space Agency? The alleged US Space Agency, NASA, recently announced...
NASA, which stands for Need Another 7 Astronauts.
Never a straight answer. Recently announced that many of the moon rocks brought back to Earth from 2 Apollo space missions have gone missing. They were given as gifts to the nations of the world, so what happened to them? Towards the end of the Apollo 17 mission...
NASA doesn't seem to be... Is NASA as good at like keeping track of things as I am, because they seem to be missing things all the time.
Telemetry data.
Do you think who's that famous Japanese that does the joy of tidying up? Marie Kondo. Does Marie Kondo need to visit NASA and just say, "Well, these things bring us joy"? Do these tapes showing the telemetry data from the moon landings? They don't inspire joy.
I think what happened was Jordan Peterson had a visit to NASA and he said, "Clean your room, bucko." And one of the guys there, he said, we had a box that was just full of dirt and rocks and that, so I threw it out.
Oh, I know. They did one of those episodes about house hoarders, and they went to visit NASA, and it's like, oh, look at these dusty rocks. You don't need them. Chuck them in the skip.
Look at this old videotape from 1969. What do you need to keep that for?
Look, we played it in the thing. There's not even any porn on it. Chuck it in the skip.
It's just the moon landing. Everyone's seen that.
What's this big pile of telemetry data? You don't need that anymore. You're not going to space.
What's this load of paper? It's just got a load of numbers on it. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Sling it out. Towards the end of the Apollo 17 mission on 13th December 1972, Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt, the last men to have set foot on the moon, extremely household names. So how many people have allegedly set a foot on the moon? Half a dozen. Yet you can't. Yet there's only really one name you can remember, and you can kind of remember Buzz Aldrin because he keeps going, space is fake and gay all the time.
I don't even know the third guy that was on them, because there's Neil and Buzz went on the moon, and then the third guy was just
moon to record it. Don't forget him. He's dead now.
Because they left him
there. Well, I think they did a documentary on Netflix about that. It was called I think it was the documentary on Netflix about that cameraman was called Hidden Figures.
No, it was Apollo 13, wasn't it? You seen the horror found footage horror? Is it Apollo 13? Is it?
Oh yeah. I didn't know Tom Hanks was an astronomer.
He weighs something.
Astronaut.
So Cernan announced, "We'd like to share a piece of this rock with so many of the countries throughout the world." His wish was fulfilled. President Nixon ordered that the brick-sized rock be broken up into fragments and sent to 135 foreign heads of state and 50 US states. Each Goodwill moon rock was encased in a lucite ball. What's lucite, Hobbit?
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't got my geology reference to hand. Do you want me to look it up?
Go on then, you look it up. Well, carry on reading.
Yeah.
But it has to be in a ball.
Yeah. And mounted on a wooden plaque with the recipient nation's flag attached. Moon rock collected during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969 was also distributed to the same nations and US states. There were 370 pieces gathered for this purpose from the two missions. 270 were given to nations of the world and 100 to the 50 US states. So does that mean the Central African Republic had one as well?
Yeah, everyone got one.
Yeah, mate. Central African Republic.
The Congo got one.
Congo, all the top countries.
That's right.
Lebanon, Beirut.
Iran. I wonder if Iran got one.
Iran, yeah.
Iran. North Korea, do you think they got one as well? Soviet Union.
When South Sudan broke off from what is now known as North Sudan, did they have to split their rock?
I'm sure they're really worried about what happened to the moon rock.
Lucite is a type of plastic. It's not polycarbonate. It's polymethyl methacrylate.
So is lucite something that they used to do on QVC in the 70s then, is it? It got this wonderful lucite ring. Look at that. Fabulous. Just like a diamond. You can't tell the difference.
Is it a malleable plastic or is it like a hard plastic?
I suppose it's a lot like getting... Well, you know how you can get certain objects encased in perspex?
Yeah.
I did see a program once when they were saying that apparently porn stars when they have their pussy lips trimmed, they put those into a block of thing and then put it on eBay.
PMMA is also known as acrylic glass, and it's got trade names like plexiglass and lucite and perspex. Perspex is right.
Yes.
Great.
So there were 370 pieces gathered for this purpose from 2 missions. 270 were given to nations of the world, and 100 to the 50 US states. How many of these do you reckon are lost, stolen, or unaccounted for? 370 is the figure.
99%. Wait, so how many in total?
370.
And how many rocks were sent out?
That's how many were sent off. 370 pieces were sent out. So how many of these are lost, stolen, or unaccounted for, do you think?
369.
Fraser?
371.
Nowhere near. 184. They've lost. Is that over half? No, just short of half, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because 185 would be half. So they've lost 49% of them.
I've got a confession to make. Occasionally, I lose my car keys, but I find them again. I'm telling you now, if I had like a moon rock, like allegedly one of the most valuable substances known to man, I would not be losing that fucking thing. It would be
how
under.
do they know they're lost? Does NASA ring all the countries up every year and say, "Have you got your perspex ball of moon?"
Obviously, someone was like, "Well, obviously, I suppose I hope it will get on to it later." But they were like, "LOL, we've fed all the moon rock to the cockroaches. They want some more. Can someone have a ring round see if anyone's got any spare they don't want?"
Did they say to them with the ring up? It's like, look, these cockroaches have got a liking for the moon rock.
I'm sure that'd be really fun. I'm sure Hobbit speak would be
hilarious.
really funny.
Absolutely hilarious, Hobbit.
If anyone could hear it.
Yeah.
There we go. We've just missed the funniest joke in the world.
Still going.
The rocks were distributed to countries
and then
ranging from.
It's like, are you? Oh, I bet. Whatever.
We just missed the funniest joke ever on Fortean Words. The rocks were distributed to countries ranging from Afghanistan to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm sure they had a great time with it, didn't they? Gaddafi's government was given 2 moon rocks. They're missing. Romania is missing it. It's a policy. What a surprise! What a surprise! What a surprise! Romania sold its fucking moon rock to someone. What a fucking surprise that is, isn't it? Says Joseph Guttenheis Jr., the Texas-based lawyer and former NASA agent, who's become known as the Moon Rock Hunter. I don't know how his hunting's going on, but his obsession began in 1998 when still at NASA. He set up an undercover sting operation called Operation Lunar Eclipse. He placed an advert entitled "Moon Rocks Wanted" in USA Today to entice con artists selling bogus moon rocks to approach him. What I did not anticipate was that a person with the real thing, the Honduras Goodwill moon rock, would call me, he says. The rock, which weighed 1.142 grams, was offered to Guttenheis for $5 million. So that's 3 million quid. He did not pay the money, but says the asking price was reasonable. These valuable rocks are not being protected as well as they could be, he says. Really? And both NASA and the recipient nations have done a poor job of entering them into an inventory system. Really? NASA? Not surely not NASA. He says the only authorised sale of lunar material he's aware of was in 1993 when the Russian government sold material gathered from the Soviet Union's Luna 16 mission at Sotheby's auction house in New York. An anonymous private collector bought 0.2 grams of lunar dust for $442,500 US, which is 280,000 quid. With potential prices in this range, it's no surprise there's a lucrative black market in moon rocks, both real and fake. Mr. Guttenheis says a woman in California allegedly tried to sell a moon rock online and that attempts to sell Spain's and Cyprus's moon rocks have been well documented. I once offered $10,000 for the recovery of Malta's stolen Apollo 17 Goodwill moon rock, but it still hasn't been recovered, he says. I know for certain this was an amateur thief, as he only took the rocks and not the self-authenticating plaque. Hobbit, are you there? Do you want to try and come back to us?
I'm here. I just I don't know what to say.
You're coming through.
I really don't.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, would you believe that this could be something that could happen?
Well, that's fucking typical, isn't it? When I haven't got anything to say, my voice comes through loud and clear. But when I've got like the funniest joke in Fortean science history to come through, it's just like, no, fuck you, mate.
Sod's law.
Some moon rocks have gone astray at times of revolution or political transition. The US National Archives...
How clean is your warehouse? Oh, have they got Kim and Aggie to go to NASA? Oh, look, all these dusty rocks. Why have you got them here? It's going in the bin.
Show that a rock was presented to the late Romanian dictator Nicolae Ceausescu, but Gutenheim believes it was sold after his execution. Then there's the mysterious tale after a fire at an observatory in Dublin. Ireland's Apollo 11 moon rock ended up lying in a rubbish dump after apparently being thrown out with the rest of the debris. It's still there under a couple of tons of trash. That could definitely be worth over $5 million. I'll tell you where it's at. It's in the Finglas landfill dump in Dublin, Guttenheim says. Just like nobody gives a shit about the moon landing, do they?
No. Obviously not.
Because the scale of the task, he has challenged his students at the University of Phoenix and Alvin Community College in Texas, where he teaches criminal justice, to help find the missing rocks. So far, they've helped track down 77, including those that were given to the governors of the US states of Colorado, Missouri, and West Virginia.
So 100 were given to the states, the most
50.
desirous of all. And one was given to Trinidad and Tobago, the one rock to rule them.
and Cuba,
in the darkness,
Cuba's a state.
and in the darkness bind them.
Dr. Carl Peters, a planetary geologist at Brown University, Rhode Island.
What does this NASA scientist fucking think's going to happen? Is he going to gather all the Dragon Balls and he's going to make a wish or something on? Is that what it is? It's like, shit, we need them back now,
one
guys.
moon rock to rule them all. Says if you're not going to look after them, want them back. I think that's what they said. Says the knowledge gained from these tiny rocks is priceless. I'm continually awed when I work with 4 billion-year-old lunar samples. They're beautiful and don't have ugly weathering products often seen in Earth rocks. Oh, pesky atmosphere on Earth. Lunar rocks retain a record of events in the early solar system that we cannot obtain elsewhere. And everyone else is like, LOL, fuck this.
I mean,
piece of
like,
shit.
lol, just go get some more then. What's the problem, right?
Yeah.
You've got...
With the moon rock that they sent to Colombia, do they grind it up and use it as a packing agent for other white powders they export?
That's a special, the special moon dust.
Yeah, do you reckon they did like limited edition moon rock coke?
Yeah.
This will send you to the moon.
Yeah, literally. Joseph Gutheinz has compared them to works of art. Not everyone is so enthusiastic about them. London-based art writer and curator Francesca Gavin describes them as ugly little things, although she's not opposed to the idea of seeing one in an art gallery.
I mean, modern art.
Yeah.
Can't get much worse than that. So
moon rocks could be seen as artworks, relating in particular to the Chinese tradition of the Philosopher's Stones as naturally occurring artworks reflecting the universe in microcosmic form, she says. Gavin does not think the rocks are worth $5 million, however, and questions the way they are mounted as goodwill gifts. The brown plaque text and flag, it's pretty uneasy on the eyes. Gutheinz concedes he will never be able to recover all of the missing moon rocks. Many are now in private collections, but says there are some he particularly wants back. Definitely the Malta moon rock. I'd really like to see that back, and the Romanian rock. if I go to Europe, I'll hunt that one down. I have a few ideas as to how I'll do that.
What did Malta and Romania get that no one else got then?
Yeah, I don't know. And I love the story about the island moon rock, a pot of gold under a dump. So that's that one done. So what do we want to do? What do we want to do next? We've got 10 most bizarre animal experiments, where I think he's going to be quite disgusting. 6 craziest animal experiments. 20 of the greatest science blunders. What else? 7 biggest problems facing science, according to 270 scientists. Well, I don't think that'll be the one. What do you want to do then? Hobbit?
Disgusting science.
I want to do the mystery science Fortean thing of why is my internet still not working? The mysterious case of you don't need that cable, just dig through it.
Yeah. Who needs that?
Someone said there was moon rocks under your drive, Hobbit. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's it. They're using moon rocks to fill in the potholes in my road. That's why there's so many of them.
So 10 most bizarre. So you heard about the 2-headed dog?
I think so. Yeah, this is the Russians, isn't it?
No, it's
But what about the story of the dog with...
Oh, okay.
What about the story of the dog with 2 dicks, and why is he so happy?
American scientist Charles Guthrie managed to achieve this feat in the early 1900s. His creation lasted for 26 minutes. Then I don't think he really achieved it, did he?
Well, no, it lasted 26 minutes, right?
Hobbit is 26 minutes alive of achievement.
Well, it's more than 5 minutes, right? It's not asleep.
Did they leave it 5 minutes?
I'm sorry, I missed.
I think it might be asleep.
I missed out a lot of the stuff. Saying about 26 minutes being more than 5 minutes.
Right. So, American scientist Charles Guthrie managed to create a 2-headed dog that lasted for 26 minutes. Is that an achievement?
It's a bit like. Have you ever seen that cartoon where the scientist invents a feminist robot? And when he turns it on, all the robot does is scream rape. And then the other scientist goes to him, but why have you done this? And then the other scientist starts pondering. And then just like the last panel is him just like scratching his chin going, whilst the robot in the background is just screaming rape. It's this like, someone's like, he says, I have furthered science by creating a 2-headed dog. Yes, but why?
Yeah, but that's not even bizarre. So a guy called A.G. Konevsky successfully replicated Guthrie's experiments in separate incidents. As Konevsky's operation was accidental, he wanted to perform a heart transplant instead. So he wanted to do a heart transplant, but accidentally stuck a dog's head on another dog.
Okay.
Okay. What? Yeah.
If you can't tell the difference between a dog's head and a heart, then maybe surgery's not for you. Like, I'm sorry to bring up an old JDLE news article here because it's not very Fortean, but do you remember when we did the story about the woman what stabbed her boyfriend with a bread knife in the gut?
Yeah.
She was a medical doctor in Oxford University.
Yeah.
And the judge says, well, look, pussy pass, you're not going to get sent down for this. Carry on with your studies. She decided to be like, tee-hee, actually, I've decided surgery's not for me. So she quit university.
So surely she should go to prison then, shouldn't she? If she's breaking the terms of the...
I guess, like, the judge isn't going to see her again, so she just got away with it.
I bet that's a fun party fucking conversation. I killed my boyfriend and got let off for it because...
So you ready for the next one?
I wanted to be a doctor.
Male turkeys
the
were aroused by
boyfriend's now like
heads.
permanently crippled and he's got shit in a colostomy bag, but yeah.
Male turkeys aroused by severed heads of what?
In the 1960s, LOL, Pennsylvania researchers Martin Shine and Edgar Hale observed that male turkeys mated with female turkey models as eagerly as they would the real thing. Intrigued, the duo placed the male turkeys in a series of even weirder experiments. They hypothesised that the male turkeys were erotically focused on the female's head. They slowly removed the body parts one by one until only a head on a stick remained. Nevertheless, the male turkeys remained aroused by the head and even preferred it over a headless body.
What?
Now, here's where the experiment truly gets bizarre. I've just got a feeling he's going to stick a female turkey's head on his arse or something. Researchers got a real severed female turkey's head, I think it's going that way, and placed it on a stick. Oh no. They also put up a dried male head, a 2-year-old withered female head, and a head made of plain balsa wood. Undaunted, the male turkeys tried to mate with every single one of them.
Do you know, I heard a similar story, actually. It was about, like, I think it was rabbits or some other invasive species in Australia. And they found the way to get them to stop breeding was they made female rabbit sex dolls. I keep saying rabbits. It might be another creature. And the thing is, like, not only did, like, the male rabbits have sex with the sex dolls, they actually preferred them. Like, they shunned the female rabbits.
I didn't like the nagging. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, like,
asking too much of them, isn't it? You know,
they gave the rabbits like, you know, robot waifus, and then the rabbit population plummeted. And I just see, like, there's the push for, like, AI-powered robotic waifus for human beings. I'm not saying we're rabbits or something, but, you know.
There's a correlation here, maybe.
Correlation is not causation.
Well, isn't that what's happening in Japan right now? Isn't that, like, what's happening in Japan with, like...
Because they've got the underpant...
I don't know.
They've got the underpant vending machines, so they don't need
Yeah.
Well, you need real women so that they can wear the underpants and then put them in the machines.
How about American? This is.
I mean, they're no good if they're no good if they're new. They got to be used in order to have that's a value add. You see.
Do you know about the monkey head transplant, Hobbit?
Oh, I think I've heard
Fraser.
of this one.
American scientist Robert
White. Do I?
Is credited as the first man who successfully performed a true head transplant. Well, as you read on, you'll find out yet again he didn't. While Demikov grafted an extra head onto a living dog's body, White went the extra mile and managed to transplant a severed monkey head on another specimen's decapitated body in the 70s. Prior to that operation, White had successfully attached a dog's brain onto another dog, and kept a monkey's detached brain alive outside its body. From an interview with White himself, the decapitated monkey revived after it was reattached to the body and even tried to bite a member of White's team. However, the monkey couldn't move its body as there's no method yet of reattaching the brain to the spinal cord. The monkey lived for a day and a half before expiring. For reasons undisclosed, White never got the chance to try his method on human beings. Reasons undisclosed? I think it's pretty fucking obvious as to why.
Yeah, I mean...
It's what? Hey, I've just got no idea why they wouldn't let him just fucking swap people's heads.
Hey, look, I did it. The monkey lived a day and a half. Can I do it on a human now?
Yeah. Just have a go. Timmy the paper boy. Yeah. Can I just have a go at it with him?
Yeah. Fucking just round up some homeless people. It'll be fine. No one's going to miss them. It's like...
This next one's a bit grim. I'm not going to lie. Frankenkitty, this one is. German scientist Karl August Weinhold believed that the human brain was like a battery that was attached to several wires, namely the nervous system. This real-life Dr. Frankenstein set out to prove his point in 1817 when he performed an experiment on a kitten. In his own words, Weinhold provided explicitly gory details of his experiment. The animal lost all life, all sensory functions, voluntary muscles, movement, and eventually its pulse. Afterward, I filled both cavities with an aforementioned amalgam, zinc and silver. Hobbit? Is Hobbit there? So he filled the kitten's head with zinc and silver. Do you know why that would work?
Maybe he just had like some zinc. He had some like zinc washers and some silver pennies, and it was just like fuck it, stick it in, see what happens.
So he says, for almost 20 minutes, the animal got into such life tension that it raised its head, opened its eyes, and finally got up with obvious effort, hopped around and sank down exhausted. While Weinhold's experiment may be considered insane and unethical today, really, you think? This was during a time when science community was obsessed with reviving the dead. In fact, a year after Weinhold's experiment, Mary Shelley released her wildly popular classic novel Frankenstein.
So the cat was moving around. It was a zombie then.
Yeah.
Like, obviously. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, that is grim.
Yeah.
Imagine if they perfected it by now.
So next one, I would have thought they've done it again by now, with better results. In the 1930s, the University of California researcher Robert Cornish believed he could revive dead organisms as long as they hadn't suffered major organ damage. He asphyxiated 4 fox terriers, which he all named Lazarus, the biblical character who Jesus brought back to life. Yes, we know that. And placed them in a seesaw-like machine. The odd contraption circulated the corpse's blood by moving up and down, while Cornish administered a cocktail of adrenaline and anticoagulants. He failed to revive his first 2 subjects, but succeeded with the last 2. Although blinded and severely brain damaged, Lazarus 3 and 4 lived for months at Cornish's home. The researcher became so infamous that the university kicked him off the campus, and he had to continue his work in a makeshift lab near his home. Oh no, doing this shit in his shed. In 1947, Cornish reappeared with a new resurrection machine and looked for a human volunteer. A prisoner on death row, Thomas McConaughey, volunteered for the project, but state officials were afraid that they might have to free him after the execution and declined Cornish's request. The disheartened researcher went home and lived the rest of his life selling toothpaste.
No, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Like the guy actually brought someone back from the dead then.
Months, but it blinded and severely brain damaged, so I don't think there's much of an upside to it.
I mean, if he well, how fresh were they when he did this? Is it a matter of within minutes kind of thing?
So it says in here. So it says he asphyxiated them, and then placed them in a seesaw-like machine. The odd contraption circulated the corpse's blood by moving up and down, while Cornish administered a cocktail of adrenaline and
it was almost instantly.
As quick as he could. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
The first 2 didn't, but the second 2 did live for months. This one sounds like it's going to be fun. The Shock the Puppy experiment. Oh. In a follow-up to the infamous Milgram experiment, researchers C.L. Sheridan and R.G. King came up with a more brutal version. The Milgram experiment is the man in the white coat, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Stanley Milgram, yeah.
They hypothesised that some of the subjects suspected their human victim was faking the electric shocks, so they decided to replace the victim with a live puppy. The shocks administered were harmless, but enough to elicit responses from the puppy. After the tests, the researchers compiled their data and reached a shocking conclusion. Of the 26 subjects, 13 men, 13 women, all the women administered the shocks up to the highest level. Surprise, surprise. On the other hand, 50% of the men refused to administer any more shocks they perceived as severe.
Oh, well, what's that to say about women in authority then? Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey. A conclusive proof there. Yeah.
Well, now you know what's pushing current year forward, don't you? Hobbit. Have you ever heard of this experiment when they put an elephant on LSD?
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Oklahoma researchers Lewis Jolian West and Chester M. Pierce wanted to find out what had happened when an elephant tripped on acid. And that was like during the 60s when they'd just fire acid into any animal going, wouldn't they? The researchers went to the local zoo and found a suitable subject named Tusco. Zoo director Warren Thomas, who fired an LSD-filled syringe bullet right into Trusco's rump. The syringe contained 297 milligrams of LSD, which is 3,000 times the normal dose for a human. The researchers disclosed they wanted to see if LSD would induce must, a temporary aggression that male elephants experience, so they opted for the absurdly high dose. The result was less than spectacular. Almost immediately, Tusco moved around erratically. Then he promptly keeled over and died. The disastrous experiment made headlines and forced the researchers to search for any meaningful lessons. Thomas suggested the LSD could be used to cull large and troublesome herds, 4 months after the debacle, the scientists stated the obvious in a scientific journal. Elephants were highly sensitive to LSD. Fucking scientists.
It's not
every
even
creature is.
Oh shit! Do you remember this one? Dolphin gets intimate with a human. I'm pretty sure we've done that on here before, haven't we? Do you know this one, Fraser?
It sounds familiar. I think I've heard of this one. Yeah, the hand job, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't think we need to or want to talk
hand
about this one much. So I'll do the. In 1967, dolphin researcher John Lilly published his controversial book, The Mind of the Dolphin. Which I wonder if you can still get that. Which detailed his assistant Margaret Howe's time living, teaching, and wanking off a male dolphin called Peter to speak. Didn't it stop teaching him to speak and more about giving him hand jobs, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The pair lived together.
Didn't the dolphin try to rape her at one point as well?
Dolphins are prone to do that. They like humping ladies, don't they? Because Bo Derek was in a film with a dolphin, and they had to keep the dolphin from raping her all the time. So how about this? The pair lived together in a flooded house for 6 months.
Dolphin of love.
Did they have like a little TV room together? They sit watching TV together, didn't they? During that time, Hal played with Peter, literally, and taught him how to speak basic English words. After a while, Peter became more amorous and repeatedly tried to mate with Margaret. Finally, she acquiesced to his sexual demands and stroked Peter's dolphin hood with her hands and feet. Oh, dirty bitch done a fucking foot job on the dolphin. She even did this when other people were...
why not? Fucking dirty.
She even did this when other people were present, so no fucks given. Oh look, just wanking me dolphin, standard behaviour. Towards the end, she concluded that Peter trusted enough to be intimate with her. The strange experiment did nothing to bolster Lily's reputation. Federal funding for his research stopped when the authorities discovered she also gave dolphins LSD to make them talk.
What?
Christ.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the fucking
kid,
wanking off the dolphin. It was the LSD that was too far, right? That was it.
Yeah.
As a kid, right, I had this idea that I was going to grow a brain, and so my idea to grow a brain was I got all the liquids I could find in the house, including like Miracle Grow, liquid seasonings, soy sauce, vinegar, washing up liquid, and I mixed them all into a glass.
Yeah,
and on the drain, pour it all together. I wanted to see what was going to happen, but then when I was asked by my mum, I said, "Oh, I'm growing a brain," and that was probably more scientific than. We got some LSD here. Shall we give it to the dolphins? Yeah, it'll be a laugh.
Hey, I've been wanking this dolphin off. Should we give him some LSD as well?
Come on, stop giving him a foot job. He's going to trip balls now. Oh, go on then. Wank him off whilst he's tripping balls then.
What happens to dolphins when you wank them off while they're tripping? I don't know, but we're going to find out.
They can speak perfect English now.
Yeah. They speak RP when you wank them off and give them LSD.
It's like Gold Charin in fucking World of Warcraft. Is that what it turns into?
They make the Queen sound like a Cockney urchin. Oh dear. So jellyfish in space. Are you ready for this one?
Oh.
I've seen that. Wait, no, that's like an old 3D benchmark. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows the one I'm on about, where you're on the moon and then the camera pans up and there's all these jellyfish in space.
There you go. So, Dr. Dorothy Spangenberg, a scientist with the...
Spangenberg.
That's quite the name, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spanking off Dolphins McBurg. With the Eastern Virginia Medical School wanted to know what effects gravity would have on future humans born in space. And what better way to find out than to launch a few thousand jellyfish there first? Seriously, no one had a better idea. On June 5th, 1991, she and her team packed 2,478 baby jellyfish alongside the crew of the Columbia Space Shuttle for their experiment. The jellyfish adapted well in orbit and their numbers soon reached 60,000. Unfortunately, when they were brought back to Earth, these spaceborne jellyfish were noted to have greater pulsing abnormalities than usual, which has a fancy way of saying they had vertigo because they couldn't adapt to the gravity. The scientists concluded that humans who shared similar gravity-sensing appendages with the jellyfish would likely experience the same problems if they were also born in space. Disembodied dog head. I don't think we really need to go into this one, do we?
No. Well, it's up to you.
It's quite a short one anyway, so I'll just cut it down a bit more. 1928, Russian scientist Sergei Brukhanhonkon at Hon & Co. shocked his fellow Soviet scientists when he presented his bizarre life support machine. Claimed his auto-ejector machine made it possible to keep a head alive through continuous blood circulation while the rest of the body went through intensive surgery. To prove his point, he presented a film of what appeared to be a disembodied dog's head being tested to various stimulations. Amazingly, the head blinked when he shone light in its eyes and flinched when he banged a hammer on the table nearby.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen, the Russian one.
Yeah, finally fed the head a piece of cheese which went through the tube in your neck. We should note that this experiment has been hotly debated and was never independently verified. So they're saying because it's only a video, it hasn't been verified. Snopes haven't.
Right. Yeah. Okay, but sticking another dog's head in America is okay, but when the Russians do it, it's not real, right? Yes. Okay.
So we've got eight minutes left. Do you want to do any more? 20 greatest blunders.
Go on.
What we got here then? Challenger. So we know what that was. That was an external O-ring. The Challenger blew up. Bang. Darcy Slutsky and fraud.
I was going to say it proves that God is anti-Semitic. Oh, you're not saying them up here. Take for example former Harvard researcher John Darcy. In 1981, he was found to be faking data in a heart study. Eventually, investigators at the National Institutes of Health discovered that the data for most of his 100 published studies had been fabricated. Or take the case of cardiac radiology specialist Robert Slutsky, who Slutsky by name and nature, who in 1985 resigned from the University of California at San Diego School of Medicine after colleagues began to wonder how he turned out a new research article every 10 days. University investigators concluded he had altered data and lied about the methods he'd used to establish verisimilitude. Slutsky often persuaded scientists more prominent than he to put their names on his articles. What else we got? Debendox. Yeah, anyone ever heard of this one?
Debendox? No.
Deb got doxed.
Yeah. Willie McBride, an Australian obstetrician, was hailed as a whistleblowing visionary in 1961 when he sounded a warning about the dangers of thalidomide.
Only in hindsight.
Yeah, although McBride's hypothesis was based on limited anecdotal observations, subsequent studies proved him right. Thalidomide was moved from the market and the drug became almost synonymous with pharmaceutical malfeasance. So 2 decades later, in 1982, McBride published a report about a morning sickness drug called Debendox that he claimed clearly caused birth defects in rabbits. Merrill Dow took the drug off the market amid an avalanche of lawsuits. But there was a problem. McBride had altered data in research carried out by assistants. The results showed Debendox had no ill effects. After years of investigation, McBride was found guilty of scientific fraud in 1933 by a medical tribunal. How about this one then? In 1983, astronomer Carl Sagan co-authored an article in Science that shook the world. Nuclear Winter, Global Consequences of Multiple Nuclear Explosions, warned that a nuclear war would send a giant cloud of dust into the atmosphere that would cover the globe, blocking sunlight and invoking a climactic change similar to that which might have ended the existence of the dinosaurs. Skeptical atmospheric scientists, you don't get them anymore, do you? Argued that Sagan's model ignored a variety of factors, including the fact that the dust would have to reach the highest levels of the atmosphere not to be dissipated by rainfall. In a 1990 article in Science, Sagan and his original co-authors admitted their initial temperature estimates were wrong. They concluded that all-out nuclear war could reduce average temperatures at most by 36 degrees Fahrenheit in northern climates. The chilling effect, in other words, would be more of a nuclear autumn.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, like 36 degrees. That's what, 10 degrees at best,
right?
Yeah,
because it'll be yank degrees, won't it?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, 10 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not very cold.
Piltdown chicken. Ever heard of this one?
Yeah.
The finding was initially trumpeted as the missing link that proved birds evolved from dinosaurs. In 1999, a fossil smuggled out of China allegedly showing a dinosaur with bird-like plumage was displayed triumphantly at the National Geographic Society and written up in the Society's November magazine. Paleontologists were abuzz. Unfortunately, the hominid skull with an ape jaw discovered in the Piltdown quarries of England in 1912, the whole thing turned out to be a hoax. Oh, I didn't know that. Piltdown Man was a hoax.
Yeah, Piltdown Man. Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't know that?
No, I didn't. The fossil apparently was a flight of fancy of a Chinese farmer who'd rigged together bird bits and a meat eater's tail.
Yeah. No, there's lots of fakery even to this day, isn't it? Yeah, because I remember back in the day, like, there was in the dinosaur textbooks, there was like a bird-like dinosaur.
The Archaeopteryx.
Pterodactyl.
The Archaeopteryx actually had feathers, they said, didn't they?
Was it? No, it wasn't Archaeopteryx. It was like this little like T-Rex head on top of like a pterodactyl body kind of thing, and that turned out to be fake as well.
Oh, there's a
There's a
pterosaur and another one, isn't there?
Yeah.
Do we ever get conclusion as to why all the dinosaur bones are radioactive?
I don't know.
As far as I'm concerned, they're radioactive because they're actually fire-breathing dragons. And the reason they're fire-breathing is because they're nuclear reactors. So, of course, their bones are going to be radioactive. Well, if you look at medieval depictions of dragons and things like that, and especially griffins, they're these like reptilian creatures with feathers. And if you look at modern scientist depictions of dinosaurs, they're reptilian creatures with feathers.
Interesting. What? So you think dragons had feathers? Then is that what we're saying? Like these?
What I'm saying is that dinosaurs are fake and dragons are real.
Yeah, I mean, true. Right then. Any more?
Excuse me.
Mostly like drug scandals and that in this one.
Okay, fair enough.
Y2K. Remember what a laugh Y2K was. Right, I'm done. Are you lads done?
Yeah, man. That's
Any
it.
more to
Thanks
add
for
on it?
listening.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Gasman, for digging up my road and not fixing things and actually making things worse.
Yeah. Right then, night all. Stay spooky.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
Ooh.
Dom's.
Ooh.
We've finished now.
Yeah.
Dom said there should be a whole episode of Hobbit's impressions.
Oh, they're all saying that.
Right,
they're not that special.
Off to bed. Catch you later, boys.
All right, see you in a